Did you know that in your later years, visiting too many people could actually harm your health? It might sound surprising, but the reality is that your well-being could be at risk if you don't take care of your social interactions as you age. Let's dive into why this is the case. As we grow older, the idea of staying connected with family and friends becomes even more important, but it's also crucial to be mindful of the impact these visits have on your health. Have you ever felt physically or mentally drained after a long visit, even with people you care about? Well, in today's video, I'll be revealing why seniors should carefully consider who they visit and why certain social interactions could be more harmful than helpful. After watching this video, you'll understand the hidden risks of excessive visiting, the science behind it, and the key signs to look for in your own life. Let's get into it. Reason 1. The impact of stressful visits as we age. The toll that stress takes on our bodies becomes more pronounced, making it even more important to be mindful of the environments we place ourselves in. Visiting people who are emotionally draining or constantly complaining may seem harmless at first, but it can lead to significant health issues over time. Chronic exposure to stressful situations, especially in your later years, can elevate cortisol levels in the body, a hormone released during times of stress. While cortisol is useful in managing short bursts of stress, prolonged exposure to high levels can cause severe health problems, including high blood pressure, heart disease, and a weakened immune system. This is especially dangerous for seniors, whose bodies may already be more vulnerable to such conditions. Studies have shown that stress-related hormones, when elevated for long periods, can impair cognitive function, lead to digestive issues, and even contribute to depression. A study published in The Lancet highlighted that long-term stress can accelerate aging, particularly by shortening telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes. Telomere shortening is directly linked to age-related diseases and a decreased lifespan. This means that the constant stress of being around negative or emotionally demanding individuals can physically age you faster than you would like. Take Sarah's experience, for example. Sarah, a 70-year-old woman, regularly visited her cousin, who was always complaining about life's challenges. Initially, Sarah felt like it was her duty to be supportive, but over time, she started noticing a shift in her own well-being. After each visit, she felt exhausted and mentally drained, even though her cousin's problems weren't directly hers to solve. Eventually, Sarah found herself dealing with high blood pressure and trouble sleeping, something her doctor attributed to the chronic stress Sarah was unknowingly absorbing during these visits. Her doctor suggested she reduce contact with people who frequently exposed her to stress in order to improve her health. This example illustrates how emotionally charged visits can take a toll on your body. Over time, the emotional and physical stress from such interactions can lead to a range of health problems, making it essential to set boundaries and protect your mental and physical well-being as you age. Reason 2. Negative social environments. Spending time with people who have a consistently pessimistic or negative outlook on life can be more harmful to your health than you might think. While it's natural for everyone to have bad days, being around someone who constantly expects the worst or is perpetually focused on the negative can increase your own stress levels and even contribute to long-term health problems. This is particularly true as we age, as our bodies become more sensitive to the effects of negative emotions and stress. The science behind this is rooted in the body's stress response system. Negative emotions, whether they come from a pessimistic friend, a family member, or even a coworker, activate the body's fight or flight response, releasing stress hormones like cortisol. While this system is helpful in short bursts, such as when we're facing an immediate danger, prolonged exposure to these hormones can have detrimental effects on health. Studies have shown that chronic stress, often exacerbated by negativity, is linked to a higher risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and even cognitive decline. According to research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, people who are exposed to negative environments for extended periods have a much higher likelihood of developing mental health issues like anxiety and depression. Take the example of Greg, a 72-year-old man who spent a lot of time with his brother-in-law, who was always complaining about his health and focusing on worst-case scenarios. At first, Greg didn't think much of it, but over time, he began feeling more anxious and on edge. Especially after visits. He noticed his heart rate was higher and he was having trouble sleeping. After a routine checkup, his doctor pointed out that Greg's elevated stress levels were likely due to his exposure to his brother-in-law's constant negativity. The doctor explained that Greg's physical symptoms were a direct result of the emotional toll the negativity was taking on his body. Greg's experience is a good reminder of how toxic environments, even if they come from someone close to you, can affect your health. Surrounding yourself with positive, supportive individuals can not only improve your mood but also reduce the stress that can cause harm to your body. As you age, it's important to choose relationships that nurture your well-being rather than drain you. Reason 3. Exhaustion from constant giving. Reconnecting with people from your past can bring a sense of nostalgia or closure, but when it comes to relationships that were once toxic or emotionally painful, revisiting those connections can be detrimental to your health. This is especially true for older adults, who may be more susceptible to the emotional and physical stress that these encounters can trigger. The simple act of being around someone who once caused you emotional pain, whether it's an ex-partner, a former friend, or someone from a troubled past, can bring up unresolved feelings of hurt, anger, or anxiety. These emotions, even when not actively confronted, can have a significant impact on your mental and physical well-being. The scientific explanation behind this is linked to how our bodies process emotional stress. When we interact with someone who has caused us pain, our bodies react as though we're experiencing that trauma again. This activates the same stress response system that we would use in a physical emergency, releasing cortisol and other stress hormones. Chronic exposure to these hormones can lead to a range of health issues, such as high blood pressure, digestive problems, and even cognitive decline. In fact, research shows that emotional trauma, whether from a past relationship or other difficult experiences, can increase the risk of developing anxiety, depression, and heart disease, especially in older adults. Take Mary's experience, for example. After her divorce, Mary hadn't spoken to her ex-husband for years. However, when she heard he was ill, she decided to visit him to offer support. She thought it might provide closure and help ease old wounds. But during the visit, their conversation quickly turned to the past, and old emotions resurfaced. Mary found herself getting upset and angry all over again, triggering stress and feelings of helplessness. Over the following weeks, she noticed her blood pressure was higher than usual, and she had trouble sleeping. Her doctor informed her that the emotional stress of reconnecting with her ex-husband was likely affecting her health. Mary's story highlights how revisiting painful relationships can reopen old emotional wounds and cause significant stress. As we age, it's important to be aware of how our past relationships might impact our present well-being. While closure is important, it's equally crucial to recognize when certain people or situations are better left in the past in order to protect our emotional and physical health. Reason 4. The danger of toxic relationships. As we age, it's important to recognize the toll that constantly giving without receiving can take on our health. Seniors often have a deep sense of empathy, and many feel a strong responsibility to help others, especially family members or close friends. However, being around people who are overly demanding, whether emotionally, physically, or mentally, can lead to burnout and exhaustion, particularly if there's no balance in the relationship. When you're always giving, whether it's time, energy, or support, without receiving the same in return, your body may experience stress that can negatively impact both your mental and physical well-being. The science behind this is tied to the concept of emotional labor, which refers to the effort of managing your emotions to meet the needs of others. Emotional labor can be incredibly draining, and research has shown that people who engage in it regularly, especially without adequate self-care, are at a higher risk for stress-related conditions such as anxiety, depression, and even cardiovascular problems. A study in psychosomatic medicine found that people who take on excessive emotional responsibility for others' well-being tend to experience a higher risk of chronic stress, which can lead to issues like high blood pressure and weakened immune function. The body, especially as it ages, becomes more vulnerable to the physical toll of sustained stress, leading to fatigue, sleeplessness, and other health issues. Take the example of Bob, a 75-year-old man who had always been a caretaker in his family. His daughter frequently reached out to him for help, whether it was with household repairs or emotionally supporting her during stressful times. Bob didn't mind at first, but after several months of constant requests, he began to feel worn out. He found it harder to recover from physical tasks, and he started noticing an increase in his blood pressure. It wasn't until a visit to his doctor that Bob realized the constant emotional and physical strain from being a helper had contributed to his deteriorating health. His doctor advised him to set boundaries with family members to ensure his own well-being. Bob's experience underscores the importance of maintaining balance in relationships. If you're constantly pouring energy into others without taking the time to recharge or receive support in return, it can drain you both emotionally and physically. Setting boundaries and prioritizing self-care is essential for preserving your health and well-being as you age. Reason 5. Physical and mental fatigue from social overload. As we get older, our bodies naturally become less resilient to physical exertion, and this can extend to social interactions as well. While staying connected with loved ones is important, the physical and mental energy required for social visits can sometimes lead to exhaustion if they are not managed carefully. For seniors, excessive socializing or traveling to visit others, especially when the visits involve long durations or unfamiliar environments, can take a significant toll on energy levels and overall health. In particular, the stress and fatigue that come from these activities can lead to weakened immunity, difficulty sleeping, and increased vulnerability to illness. The science behind this fatigue is linked to the body's natural response to stress and activity. Socializing, even in a positive context, can trigger a stress response, particularly if the interactions are draining or require a lot of physical or mental effort. As we age, the body's ability to recover from this type of stress diminishes, making it harder to bounce back after prolonged social activities. In fact, research has shown that older adults who experience social overload are at an increased risk for health issues like hypertension, sleep disturbances, and mental health problems, including depression. According to a study published in the Journals of Gerontology, seniors who engage in too many social activities without adequate rest report higher levels of fatigue and lower immune function, making them more susceptible to infections and illnesses. Consider the story of Lisa, a 68-year-old woman who had a large extended family that she adored. Every weekend, she would visit her children and grandchildren, often traveling long distances to spend time with them. While Lisa loved these visits, she began to notice that after each one, she felt more tired than usual and had trouble getting a good night's sleep. Over time, she started to feel worn out and noticed a decline in her overall energy. After discussing it with her doctor, she was advised to cut back on these visits to allow her body more time to recover. Her doctor explained that the combination of travel, long visits, and constant social interaction was draining her energy and weakening her immune system. Lisa's experience illustrates how social overload can have a real impact on one's health. While it's important to maintain relationships and stay engaged, it's equally important to recognize the need for balance. Taking time to rest and recover between visits, and prioritizing low-energy interactions, can help protect your physical and mental health, ensuring that you remain healthy and energized as you age. As we age, it's important to recognize that not all social interactions are created equal. The people we surround ourselves with, the energy we give, and the emotional strain we experience can have a significant impact on our health. It's crucial to balance social visits and avoid situations that may cause stress, emotional fatigue, or physical exhaustion. By being mindful of the relationships we nurture and setting boundaries, we can maintain a healthier, happier life as we age. Make sure you watch the complete video and don't skip any of the points. The information shared here could make all the difference in your health and well-being. If any of these situations sound familiar, it's time to reassess your social circle for the sake of your mental and physical health. Share this video with friends or family members who might benefit from these insights, and don't forget to prioritize your own well-being in every relationship you have. Choose wisely who you spend your time with, your health depends on it.